Hi, and welcome back to the third session. I'm Gianluca Fiorelli, and I'm here ready to have a very, very good conversation with a wonderful person with a wonderful name, Miracle. And Miracle, she works for a very well known brand in agency, and she is not really a new SEO. She is a quite experienced SEO, whatever you want to define experience, not in terms of age, but in terms of real, true working and so on in SEO. And we have a common friends, all the people of a heritage agency. And she lives in the UK and she is Miracle Inameti-Archibong. I hope I pronounced it correctly, your name.
Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Quite with a very tight agenda during these days because it's okay, end of the year, close to Christmas. Everybody, or all of the clients want to close everything, but still they already want to open all the 2026 work. And and I mean, it's also close a little break for me. So I will take off a few days, so I need to pack everything in all this day. But it's fine. It's the SEO life. And
So
talking about SEO, how SEO is treating you lately?
it's good, isn't it? It's interesting again, isn't it? I love it when I love change and I love it when things change and AI is really shaking us up. So yeah, that's interesting.
Indeed, interesting. And talking about AI, how are you living personally in the daily life? All this change that it's not really new, but exploded substantially in these last 12 months, substantially. How are you living? How are you living this change?
I mean, adapt or die, isn't it? You adapt or die, and that's the thing. It's not just being scared of it or being like, oh my god, this is going to be the end all, but you just need to get better understanding of the systems and how you can use it to your advantage. And that's, I guess that's what I'm doing. I'm getting more knowledge. I'm doing training. I'm, just getting a good understanding of what it is and how I can adapt it into my processes, systems, and how it's evolving SEO and marketing in general, really. And other areas of life, isn't it? I mean, SEO is just one small section of, what you can use AI for. There is efficiency, there is building systems, there is all these other things, isn't it?
Oh yes, all the things that are under the surface of what we usually said and talk about when we talk about SEO, but digital marketing in general. And especially for you, whether you're working for a big company, how SEI is maybe helping you in your in company or daily life. Because maybe usually we say that without talking explicitly of AI in search, but AI as a tool. Maybe it is helping you in making faster some daily work, making your workflow smoother. So, which is especially important in a big company. Is it
Yes,
true?
I use, I mean, for me personally, I would say I use AI as a tool, isn't it? Thinking about how it can make things like if there's something I can speed up, if there's something I can do more efficiently, I use it to do analysis. I use it to do, hey, take this, break it into a presentation, or I use it to prompt. I want to do XYZ presentation. What are the key topics, or amalgamate like large chunks of information and pull out, what's really important. So yeah, I use it to rewrite emails, change tones, digest. I mean, one thing that's really, really interesting now is that you can with Gemini, and if you use Gmail, you can then, connect it to Gmail and say, hey, at Gmail, tell me what's the most important message I received today, summarize it. Is there any actions I need to take? Is there any meetings I now need to add into my calendar? So it's just making me work more efficiently, really.
Indeed, I should use it myself more in this way. But surely it's helping me also in this, let's call it trivial working tasks that are usually the ones that takes a lot of time, stealing a lot of time to do things better.
Yeah,
And
it's that answer engine perception, isn't it? Whereas before, let's say, for example, if I wanted to find out, you know, what are the, because yesterday in the UK, or not yesterday, this week in the UK, there was like an announcement to the change in
mhm.
like tax and all of that, and the budget was
Oh, yeah,
announced.
yes, I've read
And
about it.
before, you would have had to sit down and watch all of these things, but you just go to AI, you're like, hey, AI, this is Ahmed XYZ Anna. Tell me how does the latest budget affect me in XYZ if I have, it's just longer term queries that whereas you'd have had to go to 4, 5, 6 websites to like research everything and understand it. You just be like, hey, AI, explain this to me like I'm a 5-year-old. What does this mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And obviously, this is your experience. So we should have to multiply for all the millions of people using eventually AI
Mm.
now. How much do you have seen this change of behavior when searching has impacted or is impacting things like visibility and traffic for your company and eventually also for things that you are eventually also seeing outside your company?
I think that the industry as a whole, isn't it? I think everyone's reporting a loss in actual clicks and visibility website. We've seen search impressions go up across the board, but everyone's reporting that they're seeing, actual clicks and visits to websites go down, especially for like informational queries, isn't it? Is impacting less of commercial queries. But I mean, now there's AI mode as well, where people can say, look through all the top websites, sell me the cheapest camera I can buy, and all those kind of things. But yeah, across the industry, I think it's called that. So on a blog where it was called the crocodile effect, isn't it? Loads of impressions, and the funnel is just getting narrower.
Indeed. And so, considering that you experienced, as everybody, as experienced this, okay, I'm getting a lot of impression because obviously the content is surfaced more because of AI. Then on Search Console was also somehow influenced by the heat of the bot traffic, as we after discovered. But anyway, you see, okay, the visibility, we are very visible, but the clicks are shrinking, are going down. So a rule should be, we should be even more visible. So augmenting the visibility, we can compensate the clicks, at least the click that we lost. Do you think that this is a correct way to think at search as should be now or not? And second question, what do you believe is the concept of visibility? Because visibility is, okay, everything can be visible, but you are visible amongst other 10, 12 sources cited by an answer. So how can be the visibility outstanding so that you are recognized?
Yeah, I think with the first part is, should we still be going after everything? Should we increase visibility and thinking that if we increase visibility to kind of make up for? I don't think that's the right approach anymore. I think that was the approach we all took in the old, before AI. It was like every keyword that had any kind of decent search volume, you should tag it out there and go after everything. And I think for me, I would say you need to be a bit more narrow minded now, and you need to be very highly, focused on what it is that you need your customers to know that will drive traffic to your site rather than just fanning out. It used to be that everyone just fanned out anything that had any kind of search query. You fanned out, you wanted to cover all ground. Whereas now you need to look inwards and say, what do I want to be known for? What specifically does the customer expect of me? And then build around that. Because I mean, before I would never have searched for, hey, what's the latest, tax announcement that made my SIN XYZ? I have XYZ in savings, blah, blah. Tell me what to do. You can't optimize for that. Before that, I would have just searched for latest tax news, gone to read it, implications for high tax, so that kind of stuff. And the way people search is changing. And so your strategy needs to change in that way. Start with your customers, go back again. And it's this, I know loads of people say, oh, we're going back to the era of brand because, I mean, what's happening now is information overload, isn't it? I think the last time Google was sued, they said they had over 4 billion websites in their index. There's just too much information out there. And information is expensive. It's so expensive, as well as data centers for these AIs and crawling all of this data is so expensive. So they have to be hyper focused on who are the thought leaders in this space. And that's where you should, as a brand, this is where, or as a business, this is where you'll stand up. Be hyper focused on this is what we do. This is who we are. This is exactly what our customers need to know about us. This is how we're helping them, instead of going after every generic keyword out there. So I'll say less is more. Rather focus on the things you do and do them exceptionally well. Be a thought leader, produce, unique information, key facts around that, rather than finding out and try to grow visibility everywhere.
That's a fantastic roadmap, a fantastic setup. I think I totally agree with you. And so this is substantially making what usually said product-led SEO. So making SEO around your product, which can be every kind of product. Can be informational product if you are, for instance, a publisher, or can be, I don't know, flowers if you are selling flowers. And then product-led, your product is also your brand. Your brand is your product substantially. And how SEO can work together, because brand and branding usually and obviously are not in the field of SEO, in the sense that they are things that are decided above the simple SEO sphere. But how SEO can support brand and branding for visibility.
Right now, everyone should, we've been saying this for years. None of this is new, isn't it? None of this is new to marketing. SEO should not sit in a silo. And it's this, AI has made it even more critical that SEO is not working in silo, that all of the content producing teams are sitting together and are planning out what does this look like. Because before it will be that, someone in product will be like, oh, there is this FAQ thing that this tool does that we need you to write about. And then the person in SEO will be like, oh, there's no search volume in that. I'm not interested. And then that will go to the brand team, and the brand team will write it out and they'll put it there, and no one will optimize it because the SEO team is thinking this is not going to give us any visibility. It doesn't count against my KPI. I don't care. Right now, what we all need to be doing is sitting down in that circle, and then product, brand, everyone says, I'm speaking to the customer. This is what we look like. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to promote it. How do we optimize these things to make sure that they gain visibility? And the SEO person is saying, okay, this is the topics we want to write about. This is what our customers are looking for. And then these are how we can optimize them. We can then, I'm not saying don't look at keywords or none of the visibility, all of those search volume doesn't matter. Then you can say, okay, how can we then populate these things with the keywords that are out there? How can we make sure technically sound? How can we make sure we're structured better? Schemas out there, it's all marked up. So everyone needs to come back and start working together, but you should go back to brand. And when I say go back to brand, thinking about that customer lens first, that, we spoke to our customer, these are the personas, this is exactly what this person is looking for. These are the key features that we can promote for that person and that person. And that's what we mean when we say SEOs need to work with brand. It's not this abstract conceptual idea like, oh no, our brand is fun, so we need to make everything sound fun. It's not that. There is a practical approach to like bringing these things to life.
Totally, totally. This is sometimes the misconception that many still in our industry have. So considering brand and branding somehow a synonym of making campaign, and then making campaign doing digital PR is not just that. I like when you cited very fast the schema, because on page, schema, organization, there is where SEO should really work on and optimize. For instance, just on a simple example. But coming to this SEO, this is, yes, I agree with you, it's not new, but it's even more important to say it now. SEO should not live in a silo. And I know that you have written and you are talking also about how, for instance, social media, but as a search space, not social media for messaging, not the part of it is clearly for social media marketers, but as a search space can be of support in a context, let's call it of omni-channel. So search is not anymore just in Google. Search neither is just on ChatGPT. As Rand Fishkin recently said, we must think search as a pinball where people are bouncing from one surface to the other. So, how do you envision the synergy between SEO and social media in this sense?
I think it's really interesting to see the way like marketing and search is evolving, because before it used to be like we both, people have quickly caught on, to the fact that you see an article, like even now people are trying to like gain the AI database and get their content into the database. They found out that, oh, listicles work. So we're going to create 10,000 listicles. And the general public is then distrustful. I am distrustful of all these articles I see, because I'm like, oh, I know a search team might have written this, and how can I trust the data? And so we go back to human beings. We want human recommendations, and that's how search continue and social continues to grow. Ready continues to grow, because, and that's why you see like AI and LLMs like ChatGPT will they, I think they have the highest citations of Ready, because we know that human beings crave human data. We want to see what's true and what's real. And so going back to that social ecosystem to say, what are my customers like actually speaking about, and getting, real life interaction and getting real life data, and what people search and trends, picking that up there first and then translating it back onto your website. So it's that ecosystem, and then taking it back to social media to say, okay, I've answered that query. I found out what is trending. I found out where the emerging search is for, because especially for bigger companies where you've covered all the depths and breadths, isn't it? There's no more, say, static query to set to kind of optimize for. So you need to go back and see what's emerging, what's trending, what are people saying about me, what do I need to do to correct all of these, impressions and perceptions? How can I be there and take control of the narrative before it expands and get wide? So that's how, because, and more, like people say, young people are using set, but that's evolved, isn't it? That there's now like even more closed systems with chat rooms and Discord rooms, and because people are craving this real life human, data that they can trust and recommendations. So, even if you're not as a business interacting with all these things, you need to make sure that you're monitoring them, you're using the insights that they are providing, and you are jumping on those narratives before they grow beyond what you can control.
And yes, it's not an obligation for a brand to interact and to be in every place. For instance, I know of brands that for them it's very natural to be, for instance, on Discord. And usually they even create their own Discord in order to aggregate all the people using their brand. But for others, no. But if a brand has to, let's say, has the need to interact with user, how can a brand not sound somehow creepy? Okay, something like an external monolith things without a face that is interacting with people. Because sometimes it's not really SEO, but it's more like communication. And let's say communication is something like this is essential and can have a reflection in how people will search you and treat you. In your experience working with social media team eventually, what are the two suggestions you would say for those people that are needing to, let's say, have a relation with customers on social media in order to not ruin the perception of a brand?
Yeah, I would say as a business, you're in all the spaces to be helpful. Remember why these spaces were created. These spaces were created not as a selling platform. They were created to give, people the opportunity to get closer to brands, closer to people, to build interactions and build relationships. So I know that yes, it's expensive to run, and you're thinking, if someone's asking what's the ROI on all those channels. But as a brand, first of all, as a business, first of all, you're in these places to be helpful and build relationships. And that should be your core focus. Now, in doing all of these things, you build advocacy. And it's the advocacy that you build on all of these platforms that gets you the customers that start to advocate for your brand and start to fan out to other people to say, hey, buy from this brand because they're good and because they're cool and because if you go as a brand yourself and you're like, oh, we're cool, we're this, with people just instantly they're put off, isn't it? But go and be helpful. Yes, you can be helpful in a fun manner, be helpful in a cool manner. And that's where branding comes in. That you don't expect, maybe your doctor's practice should be helpful in a very practical manner. Like, just be helpful first and think about, I am building relationship first. Now, in doing those things, then you will build a loyal fan base that then becomes advocate for your brand. They will do the selling for you. I mean, I saw a Reddit thread with, I think Gymshark had one, and then someone off the back of that thread had then built a sell your, let's buy and sell your fairly used gym chat. And that was the whole community that has spawned of there, because they are being helpful and they have been, so it thinks like you want to build advocates. Don't just go and be like sell, 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 sell. No, you want to build advocates that will then tell other people and tell other people and tell other people. And that's, how I think that these platforms should be used.
And how brands eventually can use somehow spokesperson, if they can have spokesperson, as their brand voice in this kind of situation.
I would say be very careful. Businesses, I know it's hard these days to hide, your CEO becomes the face, and we see what happens, with certain CEOs in the stock market. When they say one thing, it goes out. When they say another thing, goes, and it's very hard to, but I would say with like your marketing teams and such, you don't want, you want at brand, this, that, you don't want one person to become that spokesperson, because they're human beings, isn't it? Something happens, they leave, they're embroiled in some scandal or the other, and then it becomes a reflection of your industry. And I think that's one of the, that'd be really interesting to see where AI goes with this, because we've seen, we've seen several brands that go into partnership with influencers, and something happens to the influencer and it reflects negatively on them. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more and more brands, do AI avatars and AI models and stuff like that, that can do no wrong and lose them no money. And that becomes the thing that becomes popular in future.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's go back to SEO, pure SEO. And when I say pure SEO, it's technical SEO. I'm not talking about Google specifically, but we know that models like ChatGPT or Claude, etc., the classic LLMs, are somehow, they are not crawlers. So they retrieve the information, and we know they have some kind of limitation or a very specific way of looking at a page, as for instance, Dan Petrovich quite recently shared publicly. And so now we have also this baby of coming out stemming from AI search, which is agentic search. And agentic search is, yes, we see it already in e-commerce, is really pretending a certain grade of sophistication, because we are talking of API, we are talking of using defined schema, which is not really the schema that we are used to use, etc., etc. So what would you say to all the people that start in the past month to dismiss technical SEO because content is king and content is what is retrieved by LLMs? How much is important technical SEO now?
Oh, it's more important than ever before, isn't it? Like, data is expensive, and between two websites, if you're offering the same thing and you're of both the same authority, and I can easily retrieve it from the other website, download it's faster, it's cheaper for me to crawl it straight. Yes, even if you're doing content has to be crawled, accessible, retrieved, like all of these things. So technical SEO is more important than ever before, because data is expensive. I think, remember where we saw the CEO of ChatGPT saying, please stop typing, please and thank yous into AI, because it takes so much data to pass all these queries. So data is expensive. And so you want to make sure that your data is, accessible in the fastest, quickest, easiest manner. And I mean, before things, evolve into everyone like plug-in APIs and everything, I was watching a video someone did of AI, like the AI bot was like shopping. And it literally, I thought this was going to be like, it running like, when you ask a question and it gives you an answer in 5 seconds. No, it literally clicked through all the links, everything like a normal human will. You took about 30, like half an hour to do this shopping. And I was like, wow, it's so important now. Like, for your website to be accessible. And when I say it was using like the accessibility codes on the website, the area codes, it was like clicking links and then it was getting lost and getting stuck as a normal human. So technical SEO is even more important than before. And when as agentic AI kind of evolves, isn't it, and becomes like the norm across the board where everyone's optimizing their websites for this, it's going to be leaner, quicker, faster. I mean, I was listening to a podcast between some engineers and they were saying, should you just, is it easier to just build like a lean HTML website, and build that, in the days of where you build something and just fed it to the agentic AI so that it can crawl that quicker schema, or should you be exposing your APIs, how all of these costs to the APIs, how much is it going to cost, the security of it all. So it's so important now, and it's going to be even more important as time grows and everyone begins to all of this data and it grows more and more expensive.
Yes, and it's becoming, and again, here when we were talking about not living in a silo, here the relation with developers and other people on the technical side, both internal and external, et cetera, is even more important. And the communication is even more needed. And for having a smoother communication, this means that SEO, even the ones who are not, for instance, in my case, not coming from a technological background, needs to grasp, not just grasp, but to understand what they want to do and what it must be done, not just parroting what a tool eventually is telling as a result of a crawler.
Yeah. I did see when Google announced that it was launching like agentic AI shopping with I think it's Wayfair or one of these big merchants it did in the US, and it was using the Google Merchant Center, and I was like, that's interesting, isn't it? It's not just going to crawl or anything, because that's an already established feed that it can just easily access the information from. So data is so expensive, and I don't think a lot of people realize how much this is all costing all of these businesses, especially now that they haven't found a way to effectively monetize all of these things. They're going to be looking for how much savings they can make when accessing all of these websites.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Now, when I was introducing you, I was also saying that, okay, you are a fantastic SEO. You have quite many years of experience, but you also have a facet which is, for me, very nice and fascinating. You are a mentor, and I wanted to ask you because there is usually this sort of, you know, when people get older, usually get grumpier, and how much is important to for older marketers, let's say in our case, SEO, to dedicate time to mentor the younger generation? And what is the most first rewarding things that you have doing this kind of job, not call it job, this kind of activity? And sometimes what is the most frustrating things that anyway okay, it's frustrating, but I want to do it still.
The most rewarding thing is seeing people grow. Like even years after I have worked with some people that were so they had lost their confidence in the job that they were trying to get promotion and they had been knocked back, and because a lot of these things are very much time bound. You're either doing it for 3 months or, you have a time, and in that time they're working towards just, asking for a pay rise in the job that they are, or trying to ask for a promotion or getting the promotion in their next reviews. And that's the whole goal. And they feel so worried about it. They're not confident enough to put themselves forward. And then, you see them years later after that, like they get that promotion and then they go on to get a new job and then they're leading teams. I think that's so amazing for me to see people continue to grow and to see how that you've played a small part in that. Like they're not taking credit for anyone's, success, but I mean, seeing people grow in confidence and seeing them, go out and also mentor other people, it's very rewarding. I think what can be quite challenging in things like this, especially if you are offering your time for free, like sometimes people are not very respectful of your time. And that's why I say, to everyone who's going into mentoring, that you need to establish boundaries from the get go. Don't wait until there's a problem in the relationship before you start addressing it. Like right from the get-go, establish your boundaries. We're only doing this from this time to this time, you know, give the honors to the person to book the time, we only speak between this time. I'm only contactable by email. And that might seem really strict. But the thing is, if you've made yourself fully accessible to someone at every time, at any time, and then it begins to be like, because you know how busy everyone is. If you begin, that begins to wear you down. And then you then try to establish boundaries later. It can come off as, oh, you're now annoyed with me. It can create friction. So right from the start, at the start of every relationship, establish your boundaries and make sure that they're clear and they're documented. And that way it's not awkward when you try to do it later on.
Yeah. So this is something that I did quite a few mentoring, not a formal mentoring like being in a group which is organized with a mission of mentoring a specific, let's say, group of people or not. It's just because I started to know people, and then I usually use, maybe because I'm a consultant, I think that I even put mentoring the SEO, the in-house SEO team, as part of my consultancy. And it's something that it continues also after the conclusion of a commercial relation with a client. Also because you create bonds, you become friends. Not always. We must be true. It's not always. Sometimes it's like when you have a relation with a client, sometimes you would like to quit the client because you cannot stand the client anymore. Sometimes it happens that some mentee is not really someone better you. Okay, it's like when you remember when you were going to school and you were saying, you seeing your professors at school and say, you are good, but you have to do this, you have to do that, and you saw professor were getting crazy with some of your fellow people at school. And talking about mentoring, how can SEO mentor, especially when you are in company, mentor and inform in the most successful way the stakeholders? Let's see, the people that are not, the people that take decision, and how SEO can be positively be considered apart from reporting, but also for taking some decision.
I'm saying care about all the departments, like SEOs, we need to step back and look at what's going on in the wider team. I think one of the greatest way. It's like, what's going on in the wider team? What's their KPIs? And get the SEO KPIs aligned with their KPIs. What I call it is building advocacy from other teams. So good teams to be part of is product marketing, the product managers, like the brand team, the social media team. These are all teams that you should be. The commercial team understand what what their KPIs are. How do they report? What are they reporting in? There is some stat that says like the average, you know, director or so looks at 70 reports a week, and so you kind of get report blindness, isn't it? Think about how did these stakeholders receive information, and think about changing your reporting to suit into them. I see, like, even now that I lead teams, so I see massive reports, and I'm like, just you just have visual fatigue. You're drowning in all of these information. Like, when you are managing stakeholders and you're giving information to stakeholders, it's not about making you look clever. It's about giving information in a digestible way that they can understand, they can remember, so that when they need to, cite this information in a different place, in a different meeting, we need to see so it, they can't remember it. They can communicate it in the way that is digestible. So, because I mean, if you bombard people with information and they don't understand, nobody wants to look stupid. 9 times out of 10, they'll just be like, "Ugh." And I said, this is one of the challenges that SEO has. And this is why you see a lot of SEOs don't become, the chief marketing officer. Like you see, people in the PPC team, because it's like money in CPA, this output is that, it's very easy to explain. And that you need to simplify, and get as many advocates and give them the information, simplify, so that is, really simply, so that they can turn around and advocate for you.
Yes, indeed. And just a last question about search and SEO. Let's look to the next future, the things that you're perceiving that are coming. which is the one that is exciting you the most, of the things that you are seeing that are going to come?
I've been saying it since last year, but the kind of synergy between SEO and brand and the kind of contraction of all of those content firms is really exciting because people are now focusing on what's really important to the business rather than just fanning out to everywhere. That's really exciting. I have seen, and I don't know if this will change with agentic AI, accessibility is becoming more and more important. I've always been a massive advocate for accessibility. So anything that makes people pay attention to it, that's really, really, really exciting for me. And yeah, I think those are the things that I'm really excited about, how the industry is evolving.
Yeah. Surely, surely. And in this sense, maybe AI is, in more generic terms of AI, is obliging us, not only the SEO, but all the people working for a brand in company or in agency, or even me, myself, as a consultant, to reconsider everything. See, okay, these things of the past cannot be done anymore because are not
Um,
useful. These things of the past are still very useful, and we should have as our legacy into this new world. And there are these new things that need to be consolidated, like USA, more collaboration, working together, establishing common KPIs that each department can contribute to. So this is
yes,
surely the most exciting things in general terms. And I wanted to ask you something, let's say, more personal, so people can know you even better. You are living in the UK, but you are from Nigeria. Quite many years, whether you're living in the UK. So, what do you miss of your country?
I can't like family, like that's it. Especially this time, it's December. Family is what I
Oh
miss.
yeah,
Family is what I miss the most. As a migrant, yes, I can't. There's nothing else that I would say because you can get the food here. You can get, we're a global nation. You can get anything anywhere. But
oh
family
yes.
is the thing I miss the most. Yeah, my mom's all siblings all immigrated, and I used to see my cousins when I was quite little, and then they live in the US, and then we don't see anymore. We don't have
Oh, you are substantially
relationships.
a
Do you
very
understand?
scattered family around the world.
You just have families, and that's my greatest fear is that my children and my siblings' children will not be close, and because we're all scattered in different continents in the world. I have siblings in Australia, so I think. Yeah, family's the thing I kind of miss the most. The ability to just be like, I'm popping out, you go to your cousin's house, you go to your grandparents' house and
Mhm.
stay. And, I miss that a lot.
And there is not maybe something like sensorial things, like, for instance, in my case, I mean, it's not the same because Spain and Italy, Italian, living in Spain for 25 years or almost 20 years. And, but there are things like, I don't know, the smell of that bakery, for instance, that I was going every morning for my
Yeah.
breakfast in Rome. And whenever I go to Rome, I try to visit that bakery again, because more than for the thing themselves, also because of that sensorial memory that
Yeah.
brings me back. There's something like this for you.
I think fresh bread. In
Oh, I
Nigeria,
love it.
like when I lived in Nigeria, it was only fresh bread. Like you bought bread from the bakery in the morning, and it was fresh. It was hot. It was so soft
Yeah,
that it
when
was.
it's eating your
Yeah,
hand.
yeah. When you tear it, like it
Yeah, when you
melts.
have to take it.
I don't eat bread in the UK. I just can't get on board with the bread. It's not soft. It's been on the shelf for
Yeah.
4 days. So I've stopped eating bread. Bread is not. Yeah, I didn't, yeah, because of it just can't match, that feeling of fresh bread from the bakery. And my mom
Mhm.
used to bake as well, so we used to always have something smelling coming out of the. I think I miss that. I miss that a lot, and because of that, I don't really eat bread here.
Yeah. Thank you, Miracle. It was a really great pleasure and great honor to have you as my guest here at the research session. I hope to have another occasion maybe in the future. So let's make us this promise to see once again in the future.
I hope so too. And thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And thank to all of you for being also you, my guests here, and have the passions to listen to me and have the great, smart opportunity and idea to listen to Miracle. Remember to ring on the bell to be notified for new episode and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.